Bulgaria is a beautiful country situated in the Balkans. Its capital, Sofia, is an even more beautiful city, and I really recommend you saving the dates and visiting this great city with truly impressive history, great attractions, sightseeing, tasteful cuisine, and lots of stories worthy to be heard. And today we're talking about things that you should know before traveling this country. Of course, each country has their own differences and small things that make them unique, and Bulgaria is not an exception. Let's start from the currency. Bulgarian lev has its own great history. In the old times, the word lev really meant lion. And it's not that old currency because it was first introduced as Bulgaria's currency in 1881 with the value equal to the French franc. But it is all history, and what you really need to know when going to Bulgaria is that you not only need money on your card, you really need some cash with you. You may find ATMs anywhere in the city center. It is really easy. I haven't been in the other areas besides center areas, and if you know something about sleeping parts of the Sofia or any other city, just write in the comments how it is the situation there. But in the city center, it was not a problem to find an ATM. Those ATM has some commissions. They are somewhat different, but not as much as it could be. If we are talking about paying with your card, and if you are traveling to Europe and to Bulgaria from countries where your credit card is being taken from you by the waiter, it's not an option in Bulgaria. Personally, I never have seen this. So you just paying where you sit, and this is great. And why would you need cash in 2022? Or if you're watching from the other years, this is also fine. It had been really weird for me to be in the situation when the cards weren't taken. I don't know how it exactly works, but it really felt that foreigners' cards somehow in small shops and in small restaurants not always were allowed to process the payment. So the payment had been starting, but it couldn't be processed, and I really feel that this is the situation when this current shop or restaurant or cafe doesn't have like the whole equipment and program ready to work with foreigners' cards. And it wasn't really once when this happened and the cash was needed, but it was really often situation. So just be ready to have some hundreds exchanging for Bulgarian lev. You do not need a lot of cash with you, and I really felt that is a really safe city and country. Just simple precautions that you would have in your own city and in any other country as a tourist. So taking some cash like $100 in Bulgarian levs is absolutely fine, and it would really be in case your transaction wouldn't be proceed because your card is not a foreigner card. The second thing that is important to understand before traveling to a new country, and especially if you've never been in this part of Europe before, and it is prices. As I understand that Bulgarians and natives who live in Bulgaria really don't love when travelers say that their country is really cheap, but if you're traveling from any western part of Europe, US, any other parts of the world, it is considerably cheaper than any of those countries. Whether you're traveling from Germany, France, United States, United Kingdom, you will really see cheaper prices than you would expect. It is really hard to compare countries, cities, because every person has their own habits and things that they like, and I really bet that your purchasing behavior will be really different from your close friends, even within one country. But I would compare prices in Bulgaria with prices in Warsaw, Poland, and Kiev, Ukraine. They are rather similar, but you really need to compare the same things. So if you are comparing eating only in restaurants, this is fair. If you have different behaviors at your home, so you are cooking at home and not going to restaurants often, just think about the prices that you would pay if you would eat 2 to 3 times per day in cafes and restaurants, because the price will be a little bit different and comparison should be with similar behaviors and purchases. I would call holidays in Bulgaria as affordable and fair price. You really have things to explore, things to taste. There are great occasions to have in Bulgaria, and it is really great price for those scenarios. Important thing to note is that all shops, restaurants, cafes, malls, and tourist attractions, they are closing early. So you really need to plan your holiday as you are waking up early and trying to go to your dinner at least at 6 p.m. because at 8 p.m. or early before 9, the restaurants will be closing and not welcoming you to have your dinner. Yes, of course, in the city center you could find some cafes, and especially in Vitosha Boulevard there will be some places, not all of them but some, welcoming you even after 9 p.m. but it is really rare to find somewhere to eat in the evening or even at night. Even McDonald's is not open in the evening, so it would be really hard for you if you are starving to find something to eat besides 24/7 small shops with that probably could be cooked if you booked Airbnb. And the thing that I've seen, that if you're going to the restaurant that says that they're working until 10 p.m. and you're saying around 9 that, hi, I'd love to eat something in your restaurant, they're saying, oh, we are closing in an hour, so we are only offering drinks. Not in all parts of Europe this is the case, but in Bulgaria they will probably not serve you if you are coming to the restaurant late and close to the closing time. What to do if you really want to experience Bulgaria as a local? I would really encourage you to eat like a local, and this means to go to shops and to markets. There are pretty decent shops as Lidl and Billa. You may find them on Google Maps anywhere in the city. But what I really encourage you to do, and it is to go to local market. This is the most beautiful market I've ever seen in my life, and vegetables and fruit, they are amazing there and really cheaper than you may find on any shop in the city. I was in the market in Sofia and it's called Zhenski Bazaar. The name comes from the old times when only women were going to the markets to buy some food to cook them later. What really impressed me in this market is that how welcoming sellers are. They are really happy to have you as a customer, and though you are not talking Bulgarian language fluently and you are trying to say something in English to them, this is really amazing because it really helps you to explore and to taste food and vegetables as a local. And it is really great sightseeing. There are bright colors and really tasteful and delicious foods. The next thing that I'd like to mention, and I think all Bulgarian people really are proud about this product because all the history of yogurt is tied to Bulgaria, and Bulgaria literally has their own bacteria that helps makers to create their own types of cheese and yogurt, and you can find such bacteria outside from Bulgaria. And this is good news and bad news. Let's start from good ones. Literally in Bulgaria, yogurt is everywhere. You may find it in different dishes, and of course there are a lot of traditional dishes such as tarator. It is a cold soup made of yogurt, water, cucumber, walnuts and herbs. And snezhanka, a salad with the yogurt, cucumbers, garlic and dill. It's like a thing where in which you are dipping bread or any other vegetables, and this is tasteful, of course. The microorganism of Bulgaria is known as Lactobacillus bulgarius. And of course, Bulgaria has their own and only yogurt museum, and there is no second yogurt museum in the world, and it is completely unique. I would say that they have different types of yogurt, and sometimes it is really looks and feels like it is a sour cream. So if you think that yogurt is only something not that thick, but Bulgarians have different types of yogurt, and if you love such products or just wanted to taste, give it a go. But there is one small thing, as those bacteria and microorganisms that are not present in any other country. And if you haven't eaten before any Bulgarian yogurt, probably from the local shops, then there is a slight problem. Try not to eat a lot of this yogurt, especially if you are not yogurt savvy at all, because it might have your stomach a little bit sick because it will try to adapt to these new microorganisms. So be ready to have some slight problems with your stomach if you've eaten a lot of this yogurt. But nonetheless, Bulgarians' food is really nice and fresh. There is a lot of vegetables and great comforting food. So give it a try and you will not be disappointed. Finest rose oil has been distilled for over 300 years. And the very first rose plantations appeared around 16th century in Bulgaria. And it is all because all climatic conditions and the quality of the soil are most preferable for rose than in any geographic location in the world. Even more, Bulgaria has their own valley of roses, and for 400 years it has been popular for growing roses. You can literally have anything flavored with rose in Bulgaria, and if you really love those beautiful flowers, you are on the right place. And there are local rose shops anywhere in the city center, and you may find literally anything with rose there. It could be a hand cream, face cream. It could be jam of roses, candies, any type of body mists. Of course, candles flavored with rose, and literally anything. Of course, we are not talking about rose fragrance because this is huge. But the thing that is really exciting for me, and it is when you are thinking about aroma of the country and what flavor or smell is really associating your brain with this country. And in Bulgaria it is definitely rose, because you may hear these smells anywhere, from your room in hotel or Airbnb, anywhere in the streets, not only near the rose shops. Of course, you may see real roses somewhere on the streets, and this really makes experience of traveling in Bulgaria really unique and full of memories. And the last thing I'd love to talk about today, and it is people. Of course, the whole experience in any country, in any city, in any small village is about communicating with people and to understand the culture and dig deep into understanding. The whole country is all about talking with people and trying to communicate and to know them a little bit more, because we are all different and unique, and it is really exciting to know more about other nations, their habits, their style of life, and what they are in real life. And what I really felt when I first went out from the plane in the airport, and I really felt that I'm not welcomed here, no one is happy to see me here, and it was really a different experience, and it was really unwelcoming. The same thing happened when I went to the main streets in the city center. Anywhere, people in the shops looked like they don't like you, me especially, they don't want to communicate with me. But what really happened next is, after I started to communicate, asking questions, trying to solve any other things that I wanted to do. Could it be saying what I love to have, saying what I'd love to eat in the restaurant, or asking any questions in the shops, or asking locals how to go from this point where I'm standing to the next sightseeing place that I'd love to go. People really changed. The whole expressions on their faces changed, and they started to be really warm, welcoming, and happy to see me people. It is really a great change, and the greatest change that I've seen in all of my trips, because you are not expecting people who are in those emotions condition to be so welcoming after you started to talk to them. And it really surprised me that the first expression was really only the first expression, and Bulgarians as a nation are really warm, nice, welcoming people. they just look little bit different, and everything that I felt that I'm not welcomed was really in my mind, and it was really my expectations, and no one should meet them if they don't want to. And the very last thing I'd love to say for this video is Jelly Bulgaria. This is really unique and beautiful country with nice and welcoming people, great cuisine, impressive sightseeing places that you really need to see in the nearest future. Happy to see you guys and see you soon.